sympathetic nervous system, the solar system in the body. And so the more this happens, and this is the body's way of trying to create homeostasis. So it hits it, moves it out. It's like, okay, I need to react to this stressor to create more, to come back to balance. And the more that it gets that experience or that reaction, it creates more of a depletion of prana. And the more prana is depleted from the system, it starts to pull it from other areas in the body, other areas in the energetic system. It starts to draw prana from where?
Heart.
The heart.
What is activated?
Louder?
The adrenal, what is activated?
The fight or flight reaction. The adrenals are activated, the sympathetic nervous system.
That's what
The
I
fight or
meant,
flight system.
sympathetic nervous system.
Now, if somebody or something is not respecting your boundaries, is taking away your power, quote unquote, and do you feel connected to them? Most often, probably not, unless you're changing the mental script to create connection somehow to survive, right? So it's going to hit and drop the prana in the heart center as well. And what might people experience cardiac or cardiovascularly in this situation?
Heart attack.
Say it again?
A heart attack?
Okay, yeah, it could. Yeah, at an apex, it could be a heart attack. What else?
Panic attack.
Yeah, anxiety and panic. What was the other? Heart attack. Did you say it?
Irregular heart rhythm.
Okay, yeah, irregular heartbeat. Chances are, in a situation like this, if somebody is taking your power, they don't care that you're connected to them or not, or a situation is taking your power, has no consideration for whether there's a connection or not, do you think you're able to affect what it is that you need to happen in order for you to feel safe? Are you able to communicate with this situation or individual? Typically not. Anything that you say probably is either ignored or reversed or creates more trauma or drama. So the energy moving from here to here, again, we're sharing something, we're sharing our heart-centered feelings with somebody who has no regard for it and in fact may use it against us. So that depletes our energy in the throat center as well. So the prana drops here. And what systems might this affect?
Thyroid.
The thyroid's a big one here, right? Metabolism, right? So this center, the throat center, classically in the Vedic texts is known as the purification center of the body. It is literally connected to our immune system. So this is all about purification. So you're starting to see how that's if somebody takes away your personal boundaries. Now let's say that you're in a situation or a relationship where somebody doesn't want to talk to you. They don't want to hear what you have to say. They don't even want you to speak. I don't want to hear anything you have to say. Shuts the center. Or heaven forbid, there's physical altercation and you're hit or choked, or there's some sort of tissue issue, right? That would cause armoring or dropping of energy in the throat center. Again, there's an issue with connection, drops energy in the heart center, takes away personal boundaries. These three centers go dark. Physiologically speaking, you can think, or you can kind of see how we would be affected by different diseases because of that loss of prana. Cognitively speaking, we would feel like we have no personal power whatsoever, no influence, that we have no connection, no family, nobody to rely on, nothing to invest ourselves in. and that our voice meant nothing. What we had to say was worthless. So physiologically or posturally, what do you think this looks like?
Slump shoulders.
You see this all over the place. So how can yoga help us? The energy in the room is just gone. You're all like, oh my God. Any questions on this? Has anybody experienced anything like this in their life?
Yeah.
Most of us have had a disempowering experience in one way or the other throughout our lives. Say it again? Okay, thank you.
Yoga can help us by creating more prana.
Yes. Yeah. So the practice of yoga is literally engineered for us to become aware of our prana. Just to become aware of it. And then there are practices within yoga that help us to increase our prana. What is that increased prana going to do? Well, first of all, it's going to, if it literally is here in the navel center that we're being depleted, or it's gotten to that point in this triumvirate, it's going to light this fire back up. Now, depending on the individual, if they're in a situation where they're outside of the acute trauma or the environment, and they're in a place where they can do this sort of mitigative or supportive work, it's one thing. One would have to, the individual or the situation would have to be addressed before, or it would be kind of like palliative care, just maintaining that energy or that state of being until it can be rectified or remedied. So, are there any specific questions around these three chakras before we move on? Yes, ma'am.
It doesn't have to start at the navel, right? You're
It can
saying
be
if
any
it
of them.
starts. Okay.
Yeah, any of these three.
So can the throat pull prana from the heart,
Absolutely.
so it can reverse?
Yeah.
Could start in the heart, go from both places.
Yeah. Yeah, and the heart, literally, if you're hitting the heart, it can shut them all down. That's why it's these three, the triumvirate. And, yes, ma'am?
So, what you're talking about is more like an energy level and causing problems in those organs. What if you just had a physical issue with one of those organs that didn't come from something like that?
Right.
What would you do in that case? Because, you know what, there's some people that maybe they're blind or they can't, so they can't speak, or, you know what I mean? So
Sure.
you still should have that energy.
Thyroid problems. One of the biggest problems in the United States today is the hypo or hyperthyroidism, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, all of that stuff. Huge today, and they're saying it's probably because of electromagnetic pollution that hasn't been around for the centuries before. So let's say that that's the issue. There's thyroid issues. So more than likely, depending on whether it's hypo or hyper, we've got the metabolic stuff going on. So it's impacting the metabolism, the ability for the body to process and activate that fire. So what happens, metabolism basically is the ability for the body in each cell to activate the fire, the prana in the cell. So if your metabolism is impacted at the thyroid, it's dampening the fire across the entire body. We see this happen not only in health or tissue-based like thyroid issues, but also in trauma. Whether it's throat trauma or sexual abuse or any kind of neurocognitive situation where the person feels like they need protection, the thyroid will get impacted and you see armor being layered on top of the body in the form of weight gain. And that's a dampening of that prana throughout the entire system. So, does that kind of answer the question? Okay. Great point, great question. Anybody else? So what can we do? What's the upaya here, or the vehicle to help us? First and foremost is to connect to our prana, in whatever form that is. It starts literally with the gateway to our pranic system, which is our nervous system. So the simplest thing to do, and we see this in post-traumatic stress disorder, clinical post-traumatic stress disorder, one of the first things is disassociation from physical sensation. people do not want to feel their bodies, period. That's a disconnection from the pranic system of their body. Yoga, because it is such a beautiful modality for these individuals, because it brings them into an awareness of their somatic being. They're embodied. They feel what it's like to stand. They feel what it's like to breathe. They feel what it's like across the surface area of their body. That's bringing prana into their system. It's re-infusing prana into their system. Does that make sense? When they've got that embodied state, now we don't want to take them too far into activation. I'm still talking about post-traumatic stress, because we don't want to activate or aggravate an imbalance in the Manipura chakra, or the third chakra. So we want to strengthen the pranic system gradually. And what that does is starts to light the pilot light on these other two systems. The other thing that we might want to get them to do is to make sounds. Many of these people don't like to communicate or speak about anything. So just having them practice, one of my recommendations is to just sing your favorite song. The very act of vocalization, stimulates the vocal folds, stimulates vibration through the thyroid, through the cricoid cartilage, through the cervical plexus, right? When it stimulates that cervical plexus, it stimulates the nadis attached to the Vishuddhi chakra, which causes that chakra to wake up. If you can bring your people, your friends, family, to a place where they start to use that primordial sound associated with that center, hum, it will awaken this chakra. If we awaken this chakra, it starts to wake this one up. It starts to drip down in. The prana starts to filter in. This one. I see it. Or are you humming?
No, I'm going.
Oh, okay. Yes?
So I've read that chakras can either be overactive or underactive due to trauma.
Sure.
So if it's overactive, is that it just a sense it's about to burn out, or?
So this gets into assessment of how do you know whether a chakra is overactive or underactive. And it's you could probably look at it and tell pretty easily whether somebody's really highly active in their Vishuddhi chakra because they can't be quiet, they're just going to keep going, and they say a lot of words but nothing really of any kind of meaning, and just keep going. I can't shut up because this energy is just flying, right? Or they say nothing at all. They're really connected, or don't even touch me. Don't even get close to me. They've got all this fire, or they've got nothing. They've got no energy whatsoever. That's a really simple way, or simplified way of assessing those three centers. So,
I have a question.
yes, ma'am.
So then, in that case of someone being overactive, so you said before you don't have the prana in the throat, that singing and maybe talking and sharing things like that might be a good way to build that up.
Yes.
If you wanted to
It can also balance the hum,
So-
HAM, can also
yeah.
balance that out.
balance it out, or would you focus on maybe another chakra, so like maybe being quiet and maybe meditating or something where you're not speaking but you're feeling or
So to give you a specific for that situation, I would have the individual focus, I would take the tongue to the roof of the mouth and have the individual focus on Ujjayi Pranayama, the whispering breath, and then drawing that whispering breath down to the heart. So the tongue connecting to the roof of the mouth, number one, gives it something to do, as opposed to wag. And secondly, it takes the energy that normally would exit from that nadi and puts it back into the circuitry of the pranic circulation of the body. That's for the yogis in the room, that's Kachari Mudra. Right? Kachari Mudra is a redirecting or a sealing off of that energetic loss through the tongue. And then when you think in your mind, prana flows where the mind goes. Remember this, right? So if you think in your mind that you're dropping that awareness, that Ujjayi into your heart, you'll take all of that excess and bring it down into this space. Same for the navel center.
Say that again. Prana flows where the mind goes.
Where the mind goes. Prana flows where the mind goes. So wherever your mind is, your energy is going. In the first session we did here, we have a lot of leaks in our pranic field because our mind is not staying focused and centered with us. So these individuals as well, traumatized or people who've suffered trauma, tend to externalize completely. They disassociate and externalize and go, they're back in the experience. So that prana is going further out into that space, that they're not connected or having any kind of experience with their body. So when you bring them into an embodied state, a sensation state, really it doesn't have to be any huge yogic practice, literally just feeling their body, feeling the surface of their body, feeling their heartbeat, what it's like to breathe, all of that will bring that prana back in, will wake up. If you go surface of the body, skin, which chakra? Heart. Boom. You've just created a supercharged heart infusion. Just paying attention to the prana along the surface of the body. Right? Navel center. We did this in the first session. Slow, methodical Bhastrika. Bhastrika pranayama is bellows breath. It's forceful exhale, forceful inhale, evenly. It doesn't have to be crazy. It can be just that simple, just that slow. And that's going to stimulate, activate, feed that Manipura, or that third chakra center. And the Ujjayi on top of it will stimulate the Vishuddhi. Yeah. I'm getting flat lines out there. What's going on, folks? Talk to me. How are we feeling? Let's everybody get up. Put your books to the side and get up. So one of the other things to know about this is you have an energetic immune system. Every system in the body has an energetic correlate. So we have an energetic circulatory system. We have a circulatory system. We have an energetic immune system. Same thing. Now, purification occurs in the throat center. So if you take a concept from your mind or something that's coming into your field and you bring it to the throat, you will know if it's pure or not, if it's poison or not.
If it's truth or not?
Truth you'll feel probably here or here. Okay, so bring your feet more than hip width apart. So this practice is just one to discharge energy and connect. So everybody take your right hand and thump the center of your sternum. What organ, what endocrine system organ? Yeah, the thymus, right? Commonly, the thymus has been associated with the heart chakra. The thymus is literally the endocrine system organ associated with your energetic immune system. Why is it over your heart? Because your heart's intelligence is the most pure, connected directly to your soul. Another little caveat for tomorrow. There's two consciousness, two beings that exist side by side within your sacred heart center. One is your Jivatman and the other is the Paramatman, or the oversoul, the true soul. They sit side by side together. One partaking in the journey of life, the other observing and feeding us truth, teaching us truth. How many of you have not listened to the promptings of your heart before? How many of you have been burned by not listening to the promptings of your heart before? It's not what the heart wants, sometimes. So, bringing that energy to the heart center, listening to it, and then bringing it to the throat center. So the sound is Ya ha. Do it with me. Ya ha. Right? So if we have energy that we bring into the heart center, what we're going to do is, this is kind of a somatic practice. So we're going to dig down deep. So feet and knees more than hip width apart, toes pointed out. We're going to squat down. If you have issues in your hips or your low back, You don't have to go very deep. It can be a shallow squat. If you have the extensibility to do it, you're just scooping it up. Here, yeah, yeah. Think of it, you're bringing that prana into the body, bringing it to the heart, and if it works, great. If not, it's ha. You're using that energy of the throat to purify it and release it. No longer affecting you. You're stimulating the Vishuddhi chakra, you're opening the heart center, and you're pulling your personal power into your practice. Make sense? Yep. All right, let's do like 45 rounds of this. Let's go. No, I promise. 10 minutes, okay. Ready? Yeah. Yeah. Let me hear it. Yeah. 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 Last one. Yeah. Hold that. Hold it. Star position. Feel the prana. Fingertips and toes. As you inhale, draw it into your body. To the solar plexus. Slowly and with awareness, step the feet close together, bring the palms together, thumbs resting in the sternum. Inhale, let the hands come down, holding that posture. Just feel for a moment what's moving through the body. Relax. Release. How did that feel?
Good.
Anybody get some heat? I mean, the room's actually warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The room is warm. I don't know if it's us, but how does that feel?
Good.
Pretty simple,
Yeah.
right? It's easy to do. Anybody can do it. And if you have, I mean, literally, it's kind of, so I'll write this down. This is the pilot for prana in the body. So the third eye is the pilot for prana in the body. This is the purification for prana in the body. This tells you the truth of all things. And this is the battery and the generator for prana in the body. So everybody step to the front of your mat. As you inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, gentle forward fold. You're not going to need to cue for that. Soften your knees if you need to. No shoulds, have to. Inhale halfway up. Step the right leg back. Low lunge. Allow that knee to come to the floor softly. Inhale the arms up overhead. In this position, focusing the gaze between the pinkies. Bring your awareness to that navel center. Inhaling from that back leg, up that leg to the navel center. Exhaling through the heart and throat, out the third eye. Inhale from the leg, up to the navel center. Exhaling through the heart and the throat, out the third eye. Do this 2 more times on your own. Inhale, leg, heart, exhale, throat, third eye. 1 more time. Leg, heart, third eye. Exhale, hands on either side of the left leg. Stepping it back, left leg, plank position. Allow yourself to come into child's pose or downward facing dog. It's up to you. Inhaling up into downward facing dog if you're not there already. Stepping the right leg forward.
No,
Left leg forward. Low lunge. Low lunge.
don't listen to me.
I'll swing your opposite leg forward. Thank you. Switch sides. Switch sides. Once again, connecting to that solar plexus center, throat, third eye, heart. Drawing that energy from the leg to the solar plexus center, exhaling heart, throat, third eye. leg, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye. Suffocating it in here. Exhale, hands on either side of the right foot, stepping the left leg forward. Forward fold. Inhale, hands on the thighs, fingertips pointing toward each other, straightening the arms, giving yourself a nice half forward fold with support. Exhale, dropping the hips, lifting the heart, so you're supporting yourself, almost like that Agnisara hold here. Right? Inhale, sweep the arms up, reach toward the ceiling. Exhale, hands together, thumbs to the heart. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up, stepping the right leg back this time. Let's go. High lunge, knee off the floor this time. Reach those arms up. Connect to that prana. These poses are solar poses. They're activating to that solar plexus center. Listen to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Connect to that flow. Foot, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye center. 2 breaths. One more. Exhale, hands on either side of the left foot. Stepping back into downward facing dog. Inhale, coming forward into plank. Dropping to the floor. Slowly, with awareness. In this position, preparing for Bhujangasana, a shallow Bhujangasana. So bring the toes together, allow the thighs to spiral inward. Draw the hands along the sides of the floating ribs, elbows up toward the ceiling. Allowing your nose to touch the floor here, and then inhale, lifting your chest, using and extending the spine. Connect to the breath in the solar plexus center here. Feel the pressure of the floor, activating that Manipura chakra. If you want to juice it up a little bit, let's connect to the vibration. Bring your hands on the side you. Of the Manipura chakra. Ram. In your mind, in that center, vibrate the mantra. Ram. R-A-M. Ram. Ram. Feel the heat from that fire, stoking that primordial fire with that sound. Ram. Ram. And the next inhale. Come back up and plank, pressing back into downward facing dog or child's pose. Doesn't work for you. Holding for a breath. Inhale, stepping right leg forward. A lunge. Switch.
No, that's right, that's right.
Okay,
that's right.
great. Thank you. I lunge, arms
Right
up.
foot down, right foot forward. If you do the same side twice, that's just what you were meant to do.
That's so. Connect that energy from that back leg up to the solar plexus center, through the heart, out the throat, out the third eye. 2 more breaths on your own. If you want to, you can vocalize and aspirate that ha. That helps to purify this prana as it flows. Ha. Beautiful. The hands on either side of the foot. Exhale. Stepping the left leg forward next to it. Inhale, halfway up. Hands on the thighs, fingertips pointing toward each other. Straighten those arms. Then exhale, bend the knees, cantilever the chest up, and then inhale the arms up. Palms together, thumbs into the sternum. Exhale. Inhale, sweeping the arms up, sitting the hips back, chair pose. Draw that navel in. Feel that activation as you draw it toward the spine, pressing through the 4 points of the feet, sitting the hips back, reaching through those pinkies up, drawing the prana in the antennae, all along the body, from the feet up, inhaling into the solar plexus. Exhaling, heart, throat, third eye, ha. Inhale, solar plexus. Exhale, heart, throat, ha, third eye. One more time. You can do it. Exhale, dive, forward fold. Inhale, step both legs back, plank position. Gently lowering yourself to the floor. One more time into Bhujangasana. Low Bhujangasana. Lifting the torso, drawing the shoulders back and down, focusing the breath on that solar plexus space, creating heat. If you feel any compression to the base of the skull, just drop the chin slightly. Notice how that's activating the frontal brain. Maybe the ego is coming up saying, man, this sucks. So offer up that mind to the altar of the heart and the fire of the Manipura chakra in this position. The next inhale or exhale, allowing the body to come down. Inhale, pressing back, child's pose. Exhale, up and down, facing the heart. Hold for 3 breaths. Slowly and gently allow the knees to come to the floor. Allow yourself to press back. So allow yourself to press back either into Vajrasana, which is kneeling, or you can come to like onto your seat. So if you're in a neutral seat, so like crisscross applesauce, really lift the spine. 4 daughters, what each man. So in this position, bring your awareness to the solar plexus center, bring your awareness to the heart center, and bring your awareness to the throat center. In fact, take your right middle finger, place it in your navel, take your right thumb and place it on your xiphoid process. So navel, little bony thing between your ribs here, right? And then find that middle spot right in between the two of them. Bless you. This is known as the Surya Marma, or Surya, the sun vital point in the body. This is literally the trigger point to the third chakra. So give yourself a tiny bit of pressure. Be kind to yourself. Give yourself a little bit of pressure here. Release the right hand down. And become aware of that pressure as you release the left hand down. In your mind's eye, invoke a channel of energy running from the surface of the body here at that point straight through to the surface of the spine as you inhale. And as you exhale, that energy runs from the surface of the spine out through that point into space. So inhaling in, exhaling out. Inhaling the prana in, exhaling the prana out. With mental flossing this chakra. Three more breaths. Notice any sensation at this center. Warmth, tingling, maybe cold. Take the right hand. Place the middle finger in the center of the sternum, in line with the nipples for, I'll just leave it at that. Press with a little bit of pressure because it's the sternum, so you know where it is. And then again, releasing the pressure, place the hand down. Inhale energy from that trigger point in toward the center of the spine. Then exhale from the center of the spine out through that trigger point. Stimulating and activating the heart chakra here. Or balancing, I should say balancing the heart chakra. 3 more. Now bringing the right middle finger to the space just at the base of the slope of the throat. So for you gentlemen in the room, you'll feel the little V on the tip of the Adam's apple or the cricoid cartilage. For you ladies, you might just want to find the space at the base of the slope of your throat, just where it meets there. Just apply a gentle amount of pressure here. Gentle amount. Notice what your reaction is to the palpation or the touch at these centers. And relax the hand down. Inhaling from that point to the surface of the cervical spine. Exhaling out through that point. can activate a little bit more here. So inhale, lifting the chin gently, not too far, just a little bit. And then as you exhale, dropping the chin down gently, just a little bit. This stimulates the cervical plexus along with those nadis connected to that center. Now everybody reach forward and come into tabletop position. So reverse cat-cow. Reverse cat-cow means that you're inhaling when you're going into cow and exhaling when you're coming into cat or tabletop. So, I got to reverse, sorry. So what I would like you to do is connect to those 3 points again. Navel, solar plexus, and throat. Inhaling from the surface to the surface, from the skin to the surface of the spine. Exhaling out from the spine through the skin as you do cat-cow. Allow the chin to move toward the chest and the nose toward the navel as you tuck or tilt the pelvis posteriorly. Inhaling, expanding and filling. Exhaling, lengthening. Notice the flow of prana as you're balancing and integrating all 3 points in this movement. So now on the next inhale, tuck the toes under and press yourselves up into a shallow downward facing dog. So the knees are bent pretty deep. The belly might even rest on the thighs. And in this position, do the same movement. So rounding the back as you inhale, pressing up. Drawing the energy in. Exhale, lengthening the spine and pressing out. Opening the shoulders and the heart. One more time. Inhale, round. Exhale, lengthen. Might incorporate that ha breath if you want. Inhale, round. Exhale, lengthen. Allow the knees to come to the floor and press back into child's pose. Rest the forehead on the forearms. Give yourself a little bit of space to breathe deep here. On the next inhale, gazing up between the thumbs, coming up into tabletop once again, extending the legs out, coming down onto the belly. Slowly. So for those of you who have been in Luke's class, go ahead and assume crocodile pose. For those of you who may not have, inhale, lifting the torso. So extending the spine like we did in the shallow cobra. Then cross the arms in front of you and rest the elbows on the floor. So you're lifting the upper part of the rib cage off the floor so that the lower ribs rest on the floor. So the belly is fully contacting the floor. And your forehead rests on your forearms.
Check to the legs together or apart?
For this, the legs are apart if it's comfortable. If it's not comfortable, they can be straight out as if you're in cobra. If not,